Welcome to our channel, fellow preppers. Today, we're diving into a crucial topic that can make or break your survival strategy: water storage. It's often underestimated, yet absolutely essential for your preparedness plan. In this video, we'll uncover 3 common mistakes that preppers frequently make when storing water. You think you know water, right? It's not as simple as you might think. Let's dive into the murky depths of water categorization. We all know water is essential for life, but did you know that not all water is created equal? In fact, water falls into 3 distinct categories: wild, stored, and treated. Wild water, as the name suggests, comes straight from nature. It's the water bubbling up from a spring, cascading down a waterfall, or lying still in a tranquil lake. It's untouched, unaltered, and, well, wild. But while it might be the most natural, it's not always the safest. Wild water can harbor harmful bacteria, viruses, and parasites, making it a risky choice without proper treatment. Stored water, on the other hand, has been treated at a municipal site. It's the water that flows from your taps, showers, and sprinkler systems. It's gone through rigorous treatment processes to remove harmful contaminants. But remember, stored water isn't immune to issues. It can go bad due to improper storage conditions or contamination from its surroundings. And that brings us to treated water. This category encompasses water that has undergone additional filtration or purification methods after being stored. We're talking about water that's been through reverse osmosis systems, distillers, or filters. It's the safest option, but it requires time, effort, and often a financial investment. Each of these categories comes with its own set of complexities and considerations. They're like 3 different worlds, each with its own rules and inhabitants. And just as you wouldn't venture into a new country without learning about its customs and dangers, you shouldn't blindly trust any source of water. Understanding these categories is the first step towards ensuring you're drinking safe, clean water. It's about knowing what you're putting into your body and the potential risks associated with it. The water you're drinking, is it really as safe as you think? Water, the source of life, can also be a silent killer. Want to know why? The longevity of water, or rather how long it remains safe to consume, is influenced by several factors. First and foremost, microbial growth can turn your life-giving liquid into a breeding ground for harmful bacteria. Picture this: you've stored some water in a clear plastic bottle and left it in the sun. Over time, the light and heat provide the perfect conditions for microorganisms to thrive, making your water unsafe to drink. Then there's chemical contamination. Ever thought about what your water container is made of or what it previously held? Containers not approved for food or water storage may leach harmful chemicals into the water over time. For instance, if you've ever repurposed an old paint bucket for water storage, you may unintentionally be adding a cocktail of toxins into your water. Lastly, we can't forget about pollutants from the surrounding environment. Imagine you've stored water in your garage, right next to your car. Over time, exhaust fumes and other pollutants can infiltrate your water supply, making it hazardous to your health. So, what can we do to prevent these issues? The answer lies in cautious and informed water storage. Using opaque containers can shield your water from light, reducing the risk of microbial growth. Adding a little chlorine or hydrogen peroxide can further inhibit the proliferation of these unwanted guests. As for chemical contamination, always use containers that are food grade or specifically designed for water storage. These containers are made to prevent the leaching of harmful chemicals, keeping your water safe to drink. And remember, the location of your water storage matters. Keeping your water in a clean, temperature-stable environment away from pollutants can go a long way in preserving its freshness and safety. So next time you're storing water, think twice about where and how you're doing it. Because when it comes to water safety, the devil is truly in the details. Remember, water isn't always as innocent as it seems. Think your water's clean? Microbes might be partying in there right now. Now let's dive into the microscopic world. A world where tiny organisms, invisible to the naked eye, can wreak havoc on your water supply if left unchecked. We're talking about microbial growth, a hidden threat that can turn your water from a life-sustaining resource into a potential health hazard. So, how do we prevent these uninvited guests from setting up shop in our water supplies? The first line of defense is storage. Storing water in opaque containers is crucial. Why opaque, you ask? Because many microbes thrive on light. By keeping your water in the dark, you're denying these microscopic partygoers the disco lights they need to proliferate. Next, we need to consider the air. Just like us, many microbes need air to survive. Ensuring that your water containers are airtight is another step towards making your water an inhospitable environment for these tiny invaders. By limiting their access to air, you're effectively pulling the plug on their oxygen supply. But what if some microbes still manage to sneak in? Well, that's where our third line of defense comes in: chlorine. Adding a small amount of chlorine to your stored water can help inhibit microbial growth. Now, we're not suggesting you turn your water into a mini swimming pool. The recommended levels of chlorine are just enough to deter microbes without affecting the taste or safety of your water. Alternatively, hydrogen peroxide can be used, but again, it's all about the right balance. Remember, these precautions are not a one-time deal. They require consistent effort and regular monitoring. You can't simply fill a container, toss in some chlorine, and forget about it. It's a continuous battle against these invisible invaders. Don't let your water turn into a microbial rave. Take precautions, because when it comes to water safety, it's better to prevent than to regret. Ever thought your water storage could poison you? It's a chilling reality. Now let's dive into the murky waters of chemical contamination, a hidden danger lurking in your water storage. You see, the containers you use to store your water can make a world of difference. A harmless-looking jug could actually be a Trojan horse, sneaking harmful chemicals into your water supply. This happens through a process called leaching, where chemicals from the container itself seep into the water. And, if ingested, these chemicals can pose serious health risks. So, how do we avoid this invisible enemy? The answer is simpler than you might think. It all comes down to the type of container you choose. Not all containers are created equal. Some are safe for storing water while others are decidedly not. Your safest bet is to use containers that are designated as food grade or specifically made for water storage. These containers are designed to hold consumable products without releasing harmful substances. They're often made of high-density polyethylene, a type of plastic that is resistant to many solvents and doesn't leach chemicals into your water. But what about containers that have previously held non-water substances? Well, that's where things get a bit tricky. Even if the container is food grade, if it's previously held something like juice, soda, or heaven forbid, motor oil, it's best to steer clear. The residues of these substances can be incredibly tough to remove and can contaminate your water. But wait, you might be thinking, what about those handy reusable water bottles? Well, not all of them are suitable for long-term storage. Some may contain bisphenol A or BPA, a chemical linked to various health problems. So, if you're planning to store water for an extended period, make sure your bottle is BPA-free. Remember, when it comes to water storage, your container isn't just a vessel, it's a guardian of your health. Be vigilant, be smart, and choose wisely, because the last thing you want is for your life source to turn against you. Make sure your life source isn't a ticking chemical time bomb. We've talked about the dangers. Now let's arm you for survival. Understanding how to properly store and maintain your water supply is crucial. It's not enough to just have the water. You need to ensure it remains safe to drink. Let's start with the basics. The water should be stored in an environment that remains relatively stable in temperature. Extreme heat or cold can affect the integrity of the container and the quality of the water inside. A cool, dark place, away from direct sunlight and chemicals is ideal. Your storage containers are equally important. They should be food grade or specifically designed for water storage. Transparent containers may look appealing, but they allow light to penetrate, which can encourage microbial growth. Opaque containers are a better choice as they block out light. Next, it's about the rotation. Water doesn't spoil, but it can become contaminated if not stored correctly. To keep your water fresh and safe, it's recommended to rotate your supply every 6 months. This not only ensures you always have fresh water on hand, but also helps you identify and address any potential issues with your storage practices. Now, what about when it's time to use the water? Even with the best storage practices, it's always wise to treat the water before consuming it. Boiling is one of the most effective methods. You can also use chemical treatments such as chlorine or iodine, or a water purifier designed to remove bacteria, viruses, and other contaminants. Remember, even the clearest water can contain harmful elements invisible to the naked eye. So don't skip the treatment step, even if the water looks clean. Surviving isn't just about finding water, it's about making sure it doesn't kill you. The key is vigilance and regular maintenance. Your health and survival depend on it. So keep these storage and maintenance practices in mind, and you'll be well equipped to ensure your water supply is safe and ready when you need it.